Scott Weber, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Weber, you're here without counsel, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you wish to have an attorney? Did you wish to seek to have an attorney appointed for you?
No.
No? Okay. The district court judge may have gone through this with you, but I'm going to go through it with you as well. First of all, you understand that you do have the right to have an attorney?
Yes.
And that if you couldn't afford one, one would be appointed for you at public expense?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever represented yourself before in court?
No.
Okay. Do you have any experience working in the legal field or any education background in the legal field? No. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you understand there are some risks to you representing yourself. There are certain aspects of the law, procedural aspects, in other words, how to file things, how to argue things in court, what the rules of court are that you may not be fully aware of, even if you tried to research it on your own. There are a lot of issues with regard to the substance of the law. In other words, what effect on your life different aspects of this case could have, what the consequences are in terms of penalties if you're eventually found guilty, and arguments that you could make that could potentially have, the charges reduced or dismissed. And that without that experience in education, you may not know those arguments to make. Do you understand that?
When I was in county, they said I made too much money to get a court appointed attorney.
Okay.
And I can't afford one with what I make right now.
Okay.
I mean, I would have liked one, but they said I made too much money.
Okay. So you went through the process with MIDC?
Yes.
Okay. And they got your financial information and they determined that you did not qualify for a court appointed attorney.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, and I understand, there's a difference between what the MIDC considers indigency, in other words, inability to pay, and what you might consider to be you don't have enough money. And unfortunately, what the law views that as is you're essentially making a choice not to use whatever money you do have to put towards an attorney. So is that kind of where you're at with it? You would hire an attorney, or you would take a court appointed if qualified?
Yes.
Okay, understood. All right. With that being said, then going forward, Mr. Rolla, have there been any plea offers in this case?
Yes, Judge, and perhaps it might clarify things a bit for the record. There's an offer of having a plea under 7411, as it's been explained to Mr. Weber. Should the court agree with that, and this is for possession of analogs, methadone pills, that after he successfully completes those conditions, then this would not be resulting in a long-term conviction for him on his record.
Okay, so the offer is as charged with 7411?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Weber, you have the option, obviously, of accepting that plea agreement and pleading guilty, or you have the option of requesting a jury trial. And do you know what you would like to do in this case?
I would like to accept the 7411.
Okay. All right. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Lower your hand. Mr. Weber, have you ever been convicted of any kind of offense involving controlled substances?
No.
Have you ever been convicted of any kind of offense in the past?
Yes.
Okay. How recently?
When I was 19 and it was burglary.
Okay. Was that here in Otsego County?
No, South Dakota.
Okay. All right. And how old are you now?
33.
Oh. So that was over 10 years ago.
Yes.
Haven't been convicted in Michigan of anything since then.
Nope.
Oh. You understand that the maximum possible penalty for this charge would be up to 2 years and or a $2,000 fine. You understand that?
Yes.
And with that in mind, are you currently, you're not currently on any kind of probation or parole or anything?
No.
With that in mind, what is your plea to that charge then today?
Guilty.
So I'm going to go through your rights with you. You have the right to have a trial. You have the right to be tried by a jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have any witnesses against you appear at trial and to question those witnesses. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses on your behalf appear at a trial. You have the right to remain silent during a trial and to not have that silence used against you. And the right to testify at a trial yourself if you want it. You understand all those rights.
Yes.
And you understand that you're giving up and waiving those rights by pleading guilty.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that part of it? Has anybody threatened you with anything to get
No.
you? Has anybody promised you anything other than what we said here in court?
No.
Your own free choice to enter this plea.
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are actually guilty on this charge?
Yes.
The information I have indicates this happened on November 4th of 2025. Is that the correct time frame?
Yes.
On that date, were you here in Otsego County?
Yes.
While you were here in Otsego County, did you have possession of some methadone?
Yes.
Do you have any legal right to have that at that time?
No.
Well, are you satisfied with the factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Villa, are you aware of any threats, promises, or inducements other than what we stated here in court today?
I am not.
Are you satisfied that the court has complied with court rule and statute in the taking of this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Weber, the court finds that your plea is knowing, voluntary, and accurate, or is satisfied that there's a factual basis to support a finding that you are guilty of this charge. Court will accept your guilty plea. We're going to set this matter for a sentencing hearing. You'll be notified of the date, time of that hearing. You're going to meet with Ms. Davis from the probation department before you leave today, and she's going to set up a pre-sentence interview for you. It's important that you cooperate with that process, okay?
Okay.
Did you get the notice for today's hearing okay in the mail?
Yes.
All right, so we'll send the notice of that next hearing to that same address.
Okay.
If you have any issues, please notify the court prior to that date, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Versus Terbergen, case number 256915.
The record, Your Honor, my role there. Take on behalf of Mr. Green, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is the date and time set for sentencing in this matter, and Mr. All right, can I have Mr. Terbergen, have you had an opportunity to go through the pre-sentence report and talk to Mr. Dick about that? Mr. Dick, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to that report?
Your Honor, the only, well, the addition that we would request is CFJ 284, page 11, under treatment. Mr. Terbergen has generally been in some sort of treatment since he was 6 years old. The specifics of it, I do not have, so I think that it would be better to just note that he has been in treatment for the majority of his life.
Well, I think maybe under treatment, what I would do is just have put in a sentence saying see below, because it does kind of after that go into the details of this treatment. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is here.
Any other changes?
The only other thing I think that there was a statement of a suspected gang association. We would request that it be removed from the PSI. However, we also understand that that's not to us necessarily. So,
Mr. Rolla,
I'm sorry, Judge.
do you take any position on the request to remove the, there's a sentence in here indicating that there was.
People take no position.
Ms. Davis, Sorry, I know you're doing multiple things here. We're going through Mr. Terbergen's PSI. There's been a request to strike the information under the gang involvement narrative. Can you just state for the record where that information came from?
That was taken directly out of our Michigan Department of Corrections records, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's something that's already in.
It was
DOC.
reported in prison.
Since that's already part of the DOC records, Mr. Dick, the court's going to deny that request to strike. So that'll remain in there.
I figured that. Thank you.
Okay. Any challenges to the scoring of the guidelines?
No, Your Honor, there's not.
Mr. Rowland, do the people have any additions, deletions, or corrections?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any challenges to the scoring?
We do not.
Do the people have any victims that wish to address the court today?
We do not.
Anything on behalf of the people for allocation?
Just very briefly, Judge, just a situation where the defendant at the time the offense used his employment situation at Speedway gas station to commit thefts of their customers. In this case, the victim in this matter, Ms. Willard. I think the court has to take that into consideration in regards to imposing a sentence. I think it sends a very bad message in regards to persons coming to Otsego County to be here, that they can't be afraid of being able to just go into gas and then having their credit cards used and stolen by other persons employed here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dick, anything on behalf of Mr. Terbergen?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Terbergen, he has been dealing with a lifetime of mental health issues, starting when he was 6 years old. He first was placed on medication at about 7 years old. He was in counseling for mental health from 6 years old until, well, he's presently again. However, he did have a period where he was incarcerated in prison from in 2019, where there was a rather significant break in his treatment therapy. He's been diagnosed with many different things. Some of them being like schizo disorders, some other ones that are already in the PSI, Your Honor, and that have been noted in there. But it's something that's been ongoing. I did speak with his mother, and she did tell me that Mr. Terbergen was always a happy child, even though he had some underlying mental health concerns. He was always helping people, helping others. He was ambitious. He was a hard worker. Is a hard worker. He started a lawn care company at 9 years old, had 40 clients by the age of 15. He's done a lot of things that, well, you would expect of normal people. He's lived pretty well for the most part. However, there was always the underlying mental health issues that caused him some problems. When he started getting into trouble, he didn't really have a good reason himself why he did whatever he did. Even in this instance, Mr. Terbergen doesn't have a reason why he took the money from somebody else's account and put it on these gift cards. This is something that he's had plenty of time to think about and consider. He did spend 100 days in the Otsego County Jail on a parole hold. And you know that was one of the biggest things burning him that he was contemplating. But to this point in time, Your Honor, he's still not figured out why. So with that, I did have a conversation with a couple of people, Mr. and Mrs. Sirac from who are members of the Free Church, and they have been essentially his church family since he was in about the 9th grade. They believe that he has always been a nice person, a nice young man. He's tried to do things to be accepted by people, and they believe that he continues to do so. So he started their youth group when Mr. Sirac was the youth pastor back in 9th grade. He's been in their Bible study since, goes over to their home. They feel comfortable with him being in their home. He did, once he went to jail or prison, he did have a break in his involvement with the church or attending church or being part of the Bible study. However, when he was released, it resumed. And likewise, after this parole hold that he just had, it resumed. Mr. Sirac, he did make a statement to me that he felt that Mr. Chebrugan, he called him JT, just to kind of highlight their relationship. And he feels like he was perhaps let down by not getting the services he needed for his mental health issues. They were apparent that there were, it was apparent that there were mental health issues. However, in speaking with Mr. Chebrugan and his mother, it seems that they did go to rather extensive lengths trying to get him therapy, treatment, and other things. But I guess in part, things were somewhat limited by funds. They did attend a Amen clinic in Virginia, which had to be paid for. That was a very expensive ordeal, but it was to diagnose and further assist the local mental health professionals in figuring out what was going on with them. They did come back with a couple different things. Ultimately, a type of developmental disorder and a pervasive developmental disorder, and then a couple other things that sort of helped his doctors here, but he was having trouble getting into appointments. So ultimately, in prison in 2019, he was diagnosed with the schizoaffective disorder. However, he was not treated for it. With that in mind, Your Honor, we are asking that the court consider that Mr. Chebrugan generally seems to be a good person. The guidelines, we would ask that since the court is required to sentence him consecutively, we would ask the court to consider perhaps some manner of leniency in assessing his sentence within those guidelines, just with the knowledge that he has many mental health issues that need to be addressed. I anticipate that few of them will be addressed in prison just because of the resources and his past experience. I have nothing else here. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chebrugan. Anything you wanted to say today?
Only that I regret what I did, even though I don't know really why I did it. So,
So Mr. Terbergen, I did read through the report, so I'm familiar with what you did in this case to cause you to come before the court, using somebody else's credit card or debit card to make purchases for things for yourself. Sounds like the facts here that person either lost or left their card, at the gas station. It was put in the lost and found, and then you were working there and used that access in order to use that card for your own benefits. And you did that while you were on parole, which of course causes even more complications for you. I'm also aware of your background and history based on the information contained within that report. I think it's certainly well established, as your attorney has indicated, that you do have some diagnosed and legitimate mental health issues that I have no doubt contribute to kind of some of the things that you've done to get yourself into trouble throughout your life, which has been extensive, and you engaged in some pretty serious and dangerous conduct during your time, and spent time in Department of Corrections. You've been on probation. You've had some time in jail. All of those things have been attempted throughout the years, in addition to what your family and friends have done in order to try and help you deal with those underlying mental health issues. And that's a difficult thing, when somebody engages in conduct because of underlying mental health issues that is criminal. It's a difficult problem, because where does, that mental health aspect of it end, and where does your responsibility to control your actions and not put other people at risk or harm other people come into play? And where does the court fall in terms of recognizing that something you can't help, which is your mental health condition, just like any other disease, people can't help when they're sick. It just happens to them. Where does the court, how far does the court take those things into consideration in terms of what you can't help, and then draw the line where there are things that you could help and not do, and exercise self-control? And that's a hard position for the court to be in, because I do recognize that a lot of this is based on things that are outside of your control. But at the same time, I have to recognize that in this case, as in some of your other cases, there is a victim here. There's somebody who suffered not just a financial loss, but there's a psychological effect to that person too when they're victimized. People feel stupid, people feel bad, feel insecure, unsafe going forward when somebody has done something like what you've done here. So I have to try and balance all of those things. And then, of course, from a legal standpoint, your past record factors into it, what the guidelines are and your parole status. And I have to recognize that as well. I'm bound to by the law. When I put all of those things together and looking at the guidelines, your conduct in this case, your past conduct, and the fact that various attempts at treatment, various penalties prior by the court haven't been able to correct what's been going on, the court finds that an appropriate sentence, and one that is within the guidelines, is a Department of Corrections sanction. And that is a sanction of 18 months to 6 years. And that's as to both charges. Because of your parole status, you do have credit for 0 days served, and that sentence is required to be served consecutive to any parole sanction, which I understand in this case you've already served. But nonetheless, the court has to note that for the record. Court is going to order that you pay restitution in the amount of $784.70. That's payable to the Otsego County Clerk to be dispersed to the victim in this case. Crime victim's assessment of $130, court costs of $325, attorney fees of $350, and $136 state costs. You do have the ability to seek an appeal of the sentence, and Mr. Dick, if you could provide those papers to Mr. Terbergen. Clayton, are you ready? Mr. Clayton?
That file, I don't know which one.
People versus Antoine Shaw, file number 256927 and 6928. Record should reflect. Mr. Shaw, if you want to come up to the podium, please. Mr. Shaw is present here in the courtroom today. If I could have counsel put your appearances on.
Your Honor, for the record, my home there.
Brian Duda, Antoine Shaw, podium at our right, your status now.
Thank you. Mr. Clayton, can you tell me the status from the defense side of the trial?
Yes, Your Honor. I know this file is not an old file, it's actually newer to me. We were waiting on some digital media, part of our Brady disclosure from the prosecutor's office. We did receive some, but we're anticipating some more body cam and of that ilk. So I'd ask the court for additional time to exchange discovery so I can more thoroughly understand the case and advise my client likewise.
Okay, Mr. Rowland?
I don't have any objection, Judge. It's a situation where the case is not that old, and Mr. Clayton's recently come into the matter. I believe that was second week of December, perhaps.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we're on only in the first week of January.
Okay, so Mr. Clayton, I want to build enough time for you to do what you need to do before the next appearance. So is 30 days enough for that? Do you want 60 days? I'd rather set it at a time where you'll be able to take some action at the next year.
Why don't we go the 60-day route? I'd just advise the court as we get to the 60-day, I'm planning to be out of the country from the end of February to the first week of March. So I'm only gone for about 12 days.
Okay, we could set it for mid-March.
That'd be fine, sir. I'll be back. I think I'm back to 5th and 6th.
Mr. Rolla, do you have any objection to that?
Not at all. I was aware of Mr. Clayton's out of the country experience.
All right, Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
you understand that this is going to result in a delay of how your case is processed?
Yes, sir.
And have you talked to Mr. Clayton about that?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any objection to setting this out to mid-March?
No, Your Honor.
So we'll set both files for hearing in mid-March. That will be the plea cutoff.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Shaw, between now and then, it's important that you stay in touch with Mr. Clayton, and that when we're back in court in the middle of March, that you're ready with a final decision as to whether you want to accept any plea agreements or whether you want to proceed to trial on these files. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. That's all for today.
Thank you.